Hi everybody, this is Odd Samuna, and today I'm gonna be reacting to The Summer Hikaru Died, episode 3. So yeah, really interesting. I'm gonna try to not repeat what I said last time. So I'm gonna try and focus more on other things that they kinda, you know, flew off my radar. But yeah, okay, so we started the episode with a cicada, and we ended it with a cicada as well. So I'm gonna go back to that later. So we started with Hikaru telling Yoshiki about the death of Matsuda, and then we have shadow or shade, uh, you know, covering both of them. So I wonder if it's because Hikaru is talking about this so casually and nonchalantly that it gives Yoshiki an uneasy feeling, or is it because he can tell, that it was Hikaru, and the shadow is basically representing how guilty Yoshiki is feeling about basically kinda enabling Hikaru, continuing to kill basically. Because as the shadow is leaving Hikaru's face, we have Yoshiki looking away from him, which happens multiple times in the episode, but this is the first time. So yeah, this is definitely him trying not to think too much about what Hikaru does, and being like, I know this creature that is Hikaru right now is gonna bring trouble and is, willing to kill humans. But I really don't want to part from him because of the way he looks. Means a lot to him in regards to still not being fully ready to say goodbye to OG Hikaru. So he looks away and continues with his life. And then we have their little group here talking about going through the forest. I think I got all their names. No, that's not true. I don't think I know the name of the boy who starts the conversation. But the brown-haired girl, I think, is Ah-chan, and the one with the pigtails is Yu-chan. Then we have Hikaru trying to pass off being different than OG Hikaru by being like, no, I changed. I'm totally fine with horror movies now. And then he basically wants Yoshiki to confirm it, to be an accomplice on the lie. And well, Yoshiki backs him up. And the way that, the animation for Yoshiki's eyes when, there's a lot of turmoil inside him is really good. It really affects him that he's helping Hikaru like this. Oh, then this. I feel like I really they didn't really pay too much attention to Tanaka's side of the episode. But there's I feel like little things here and there that might be important later on. For one, he's really casual about all this. I'm sure it's because he's seen this a lot. So for him, this is just, another job. Whereas the, I don't know, the supernatural council of the village are like, why aren't you taking this more serious? Yeah, people are dying here. I wonder if it also has something to do with the mark or scar that he has in his neck. I reckon it might be because that company of yours came trampling in. Companies in quotation marks though, so that's interesting. Maybe it's, I assumed that he worked solo, but maybe he does have like a company he works for to do these things. Letting that ignorant corporation alter the land would have been an even bigger disaster. Okay, like, obviously they're talking to each other because they already know what they're talking about. But me, as the audience, doesn't. So this is just, clues here and there. That Tanaka has, or either not Tanaka, but his company, some history with the village. My company put a stop to it. You should be thanking us right now. Okay, very different way of saying things. But their goals are the same, it seems. Company, if only we knew who they were. And then they're gonna bring up, Hikaru going missing. And once again, we have the cicada visualization, kinda, where ants are eating it. Which caused Ed to start acting up. I'm guessing Nonuki / Unuki. So Matsuda and the Supernatural Council called it Unuki, and the Indos called it Nonuki? I think. It's super similar, so sorry if I confuse them. But yeah, they're both talking about the same being. Okay, so we go to the woods. Nothing happens at first. And they talk about Matsuda. She had a traumatic experience as a child. That's when she saw it. Nonuki. Okay, yeah. So Matsuda called it Nonuki. The more she fears it, the more it's attracted to her. Yeah, like, I'm sure that Tanaka has some, like, what he says, there's probably some truth to that, but definitely not the full truth, so I'm not gonna, like, take his words for fact, since he's very biased. And then we have Yoshiki in danger of that. I'm not even sure what that is. I don't think Hikaru gives it, like, a categorization. So I'm gonna call it a yokai for now. And he absorbs it. Then we go back to Tanaka. Anya talks about the shrinked head and how effective it is in warding off spirits. Yeah, okay. Oh, he says something interesting here. about like it's come down from the mountain. It found a way to stay hidden when it lurks among us. Hmm. Let me see the. Okay. So that's what Tanaka says. So yeah. It does feel like a bit. I mean, Tanaka is only talking to these guys, but it does feel like a little bit of. I mean, he's technically right, but I'm just kind of scared of Tanaka because he seems very close minded about what to do with these creatures. So it just kind of feels like a fear mongering, basically. Like, oh, it's a fake, therefore we have to eliminate it, type of deal. Then we have that scene with Hikaru being like, oh, you should only look at me. And this one we have, like it said like multiple times about Unuki slash Nonuki, but here Hikaru says, those guys are real lonely. So I think that's a big thing. That Hikaru is so attached to Yoshiki because it seems like he's the only person who would accept him despite of what he is. Of course, Hikaru doesn't have like access to Yoshiki's thoughts, but that's, from his point of view, I feel like that tracks. He's so starved for connection and affection, plus not being human, that, the way that he shows it might be flawed, but it does come from a very human place. So yeah, Hikaru has never had someone like Yoshiki before, so he clings desperately to him and doesn't want to share. Whereas Yoshiki had someone who meant the world to him, but now it's gone. He's gone. So he clings to current Hikaru because there's no other option. Then we have, oh yeah, this. Yeah, I already said like, Unuki is described as being very lonely. Then we have a scene at the, I'm not sure, gym? Like, gym storage room. And the only new thing I'll say is that while Yoshiki is like, his body is facing Hikaru throughout the whole scene, while his hand is inside him, he's not actually looking at him, like, at all. But at the very least, his body is facing him. And it's not until he gets his hand out of there and it's just, Hikaru's human-looking abdomen that he aggressively turns to the side. So that to me feels like, well, he's doing the implied sexual thing, well, he can ignore it. Because, there's layers that Yoshiki can be like, well, but it's not that. It's not until Hikaru is just, normal looking that Yoshiki doesn't really have anything else to cover his view of what's actually happening, and he can't deal with it. Also, yeah, the very specific animation for Yoshiki's hand going further up, very let's say it really helps with the sexual connotations. And then we have Yoshiki at the store, and I barely paid attention to what the cashier was saying, but she was talking about his parents. And definitely, yeah, with what she was saying, like, oh, your folks were fighting in the middle of the night again. Everyone's concerned, you know. No wonder he was disassociating. Like, that's such a big part of why he's so attached to Hikaru. Like, they're both using each other, you know, but Yoshiki in particular uses him as a coping mechanism to not think about his family issues. And also, yeah, about his sister too. Then we have the conversation with Rie, which we did get her name when she gave him her contact info. So I already said what I think about her, but yeah, like, you know, if we're talking like from like a allegory perspective of like Hikaru is an LGBT person and Yoshiki is as well, but it still isn't there yet in terms of like accepting it. Her words and the way that affect him, it's very pointed, and yeah, like she might have good intentions, but the way that she approaches the subject, it just, you know, it makes me worry of her. Oh, if you're not careful, you're gonna end up like something non-human. Like when you see it through those lenses, I just, you know, I can't not see her. Like I don't think she's as extremist as Tanaka, but you know, it's definitely the type to be like, huh. I'm not homophobic, but I don't want to see those type of people around myself, though. But yeah, in a literal sense, yeah, sure. She's just, you know, making a reasonable warning to Yoshiki. But when we see him in his bed, and he's thinking of Hikaru, and just, you know, we have Hikaru multiple times going like, Yoshiki, Yoshiki, Yoshiki. And like, I feel like all the red lighting is such, like, symbolizing Yoshiki's shame about what he's feeling. And like what Ria said, that just increased it. Like, that poor boy was already feeling so much more, or rather just much shame about the type of relationship he has with Hikaru. And now he had someone, you know, an outsider being like, you shouldn't do that, you know? You shouldn't be with that person like that. So now, like, the self-loathing is just gonna keep increasing. It's interesting that the last Hikaru we see in that little montage is the actual OG Hikaru. Is when he was imitating Hara sensei, and Yoshiki laughed. So that's interesting. Now, what the symbolism is with the cicada, The only thing I can think of is that Yoshiki, like those feelings he's feeling for Hikaru were about to like really expand and fly away, you know, from that shell that he's in, that he doesn't accept himself. And then by the end, he went back to the shell. But eventually, it'll have to come out. I'm not gonna talk about the opening because I'm a little nervous that it could spoil future events if I'm looking too much into it. I'll just say that the ending, it's cool. It starts with Yoshiki and OG Hikaru. Hikaru is making one of his goofy faces. Yoshiki laughs. Then by the end of the ending, we have present Yoshiki, present Hikaru. Hikaru does the goofy face, Yoshiki does not laugh. So as much as he wants Hikaru in any shape or form, it will never make him as happy as OG Hikaru if he tries to see him as a replacement. Alright. Some people like my yapping, so I'm not gonna say sorry for it, but let's hope that my vocal cords can hold up. Okay. Episode 3. Subtitles on? Yes. Okay. Let's raise the volume a little bit. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, another flashback. The youngest we've seen them together. Cute. Okay. That, man, flashbacks like that are gonna be so bittersweet. I went back to like, I've listened to the full song of this, and I think I like the opening and ending song equally. Oh, the visuals are so good. Oh, the colors too. Denial. Oh, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. I think I might have been right with my cicada symbolism read. The same sunflowers that were in the flashback. Yoshiki being pretty observant of how Hikaru looks. Oh. Why? Blushing Hikaru is so cute. Mm. Mm. That was melancholic. Hmm. Hmm. Watermelons too, like in the flashback. The same, but not really. I love this. Mm. Oh. Mm. 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 Man, it's rough seeing Yoshiki like that. I think Hikaru is gonna see her as a threat. I wonder how Yoshiki is gonna phrase what he wants to say. Oh, Yoshiki. Okay. Well, first, I don't blame Yoshiki for talking to her. He's in a really difficult situation. Plus, all the shame and guilt he feels is not helping either. He can't even face him right now. Whoa. I love the visuals here. Voice acting too. Hmm. I don't think he's done that with him. Whoa. Uh. Mm. Oh man, that was intense. Ooh, the mark of Hikaru's fingers and his arms. Ah, he stopped himself. Ooh, not letting us see either of them. I don't know how to explain it, but that whole scene made me so emotional. Mm. Okay. Of course, they could tell. Mm. Mm. To where? Hikaru's house? Oh, okay. No ending visuals. But you want to, right? Oh my god. Oh, he didn't even know that it. Oh. 1 second to compose myself. So that's easily my favorite episode so far. No contest. I wish I could explain like why this turned me into a crying mess. Um, but I'm unable to. I don't know. There's something really like emotional about the whole thing. I just like why in particular it touched me like this, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. But I will say I'm really endeared to Hikaru. That's all I can say for an explanation right now. Yeah. Denial, eh? That's the title of the episode. Obviously, it's about Yoshiki's feelings. What is he in denial about? It could be like he was in denial of Hikaru being fully gone. I'm sorry. But now at the end of the episode, he's not. It seems like he's finally willing to treat this Hikaru as his own person. Obviously, he cannot use a different name because, gotta keep up appearances with everyone else. But aside from that, it seems like he finally is looking at current Hikaru. Or it could be like, for most of the episode he was denying the feelings bordering on romantic obsession in regards to Hikaru. But by the end, he just cannot ignore them anymore. Now, obviously, he doesn't identify them as such, but that's what that's what he's still acting upon them. Maybe that's why it made me so emotional. I cannot keep acting like everything is normal. When he's at Hikaru's house. So, maybe now he'll be like, okay, this is not normal. And I think I can live with that. Because I think that was a big reason why it was tearing him apart. Trying to treat this Hikaru as if it was the original one. And trying to act like everything he does and says isn't something that has Yoshiki bewildered a lot of the time. Yeah, he doesn't understand it. And that freaked him out. But now he's gonna start to try and understand. Okay, so the conversation with Rie. So I think there's definitely, a way that these characters can relate to each other. So here, when Yoshiki asked her, you said both of us. Ages ago, my late husband suddenly came home one day. Yeah, so they basically experienced a similar thing with the person that they love the most disappeared and someone else came in their place. And like, you might say like, but it's not the same. Rie and her husband was romantic and Yoshiki and Hikaru are just good friends. Okay, sure. Like at last episode I was like, it's just metaphorical, right? But then like when she said Like, oh, you must be close. I assumed it was a girl. How else can I take that? Like the term mixing is definitely something that would require more than what friends do. Like, you know, the gym storage room scene. Yeah, if you two are mixing, you must be close. Yeah. Come on, it has to be like, not just, you know, platonically caring about each other, but also physical intimacy. I also like that this shot when she says, "I don't want you to end up like me," and there's like this big line separating Rie and Yoshiki with the windows framing them as such. But, you know, both of them are surrounded by the rain. They're still haunted by sadness of the loved one they lost. And like, you know, Rei is saying some good things. Like, if Yoshiki kept going as he was, you know. Okay, so I was gonna say, like, if Yoshiki kept going as he was never gonna be able to grieve Hikaru properly and be able to move on from the loss. But like, there's no guarantee that the new approach would have you know, a much more positive outcome. But yeah, she was saying some understandable and healthy things. Where we're desperately clinging to those loved ones we lost, but we need to let them go, basically. Yeah, we need to face the truth. And he kinda did that. You know, just because Rie wasn't able to see the new person that was not her husband as his own person. You know, maybe Yoshiki could. Oh, also, the layers here are they hurt, basically. When Hikaru's telling Yoshiki, like, oh, you're pissed off at me, right? In the classroom. And Yoshiki wants him to leave him alone. So he tries to hurt him to make him leave. And he calls him a creep. I think in Japanese he says, like, kimachi warinda. Which is like, you know, like, you disgust me. Could also be a translation. And yeah, oof. Saying it as, you know, from the lens of like, oh, Yoshiki is a gay teen trying to pretend he isn't because of all the societal expectations and stuff. Whereas Hikaru is someone who is openly LGBT. So like, yeah, calling him, you know, a creep or disgusting. Oh, that hurt. That hurt. Definitely is Yoshiki playing to what other people want him to do. Yeah, okay, maybe this is why I got so emotional. He's trying to act as he should instead of what he wants. And then this is where he starts venting his actual frustrations. You're not the real Hikaru. You're never gonna be good enough for me. And Hikaru's like, yeah, I can't argue with that. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, like in discussion to the last episode, like they both really need each other. Even if Yoshiki tried to throw him away, like they both really, really depend on each other to be able to keep going. It's very, it's not very healthy, but it's definitely a very codependent relationship. Hikaru cannot live without Yoshiki now. His loneliness is just that big. He could not be able to take it if Yoshiki rejects him. Yoshiki is his whole world. And so he loses control. And I don't, what's happening, like, literally, like, what exactly is this power that Hikaru has? That he's, just completely, what can I even say? Pushing onto Yoshiki. But I think the most important is the way that Yoshiki responds to it. At first, he's like really grossed out and think it's really nasty. Because obviously he has no idea what the hell is happening. And he's like, oh god, oh god, oh god, what do I do? But then once a few seconds pass, he actually realizes it does feel good. He does like the sensation it provides. And I'm just saying, the translation, it's coming inside of me. It's definitely a choice. Plus, the implications of like, it started non-consensual, but turned consensual. I don't know if I want to get into that kind of worms. But I do think it goes back to Yoshiki's character arc of like feeling shame about the way that he feels about Hikaru, and the way that they explore each other's bodies gives Yoshiki really big conflicting emotions. But I think the beginning part, when he's like, this is nasty, it could be because, it's just so new that he doesn't know what to think. And then when he actually likes it, that's, you know, Yoshiki at his most raw, honest side. And then we have the end where like Yoshiki's like, well, it's not OG Hikaru, and I cannot keep treating this creature as such, so let's not do it. He has a conversation with Achan and Yuchan, and I'm not exactly what part of it pushes Yoshiki to go and talk to Hikaru, but he does. And he wants to continue the relationship. And while he's still a little scared of Hikaru, you know, the fear in the scales of like desperately wanting his company is definitely, you know, way down. I love the last moments. I just want to be with you. At this point, you know, it doesn't matter if you, like, yeah, if you hang out with other people too. I just want to be with you. So don't hate me. Like, that would be, like, the worst for Hikaru, for Yoshiki to completely and utterly reject his existence. And Yoshiki's like, okay, I won't. Oh, I love that the sunflower motif keeps coming back. I shouldn't be getting so close. It's dangerous. But still. You're more of a brat than Hikaru ever was. Yo, oh my god, bro. The fondness that he says that with and the expression, that's the most fond we've ever seen Yoshiki look at current Hikaru. It's because he's finally seeing him for who he is. You're just a lonely little brat. Yep. Everything he does is because he wants to fill that hole in his heart. And he doesn't know how to, because it's all so new to him. Maybe this Hikaru just doesn't know anything, yeah? Just everything to him is so new. He's not equipped to deal with all these emotions. If he's really that naive, I gotta teach him a few things. Oh, but right before he says that, we have the bruise that he could have left in his arm. Like, if that doesn't say that this relationship is not quite healthy, then, you know, how else? Okay, that's it though for this episode. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.